Yes, it's getting recorded. So I keep telling him ki, if you have time, you go through all your answers and then if there is any mistakes, you could rectify.
Okay, sir.
So
Yeah, in online there won't be an issue.
yeah.
If
Online there
online,
won't be an issue because you can
yeah,
always before you submit it, I think you could review it and kind of a thing. It's always
yeah,
better
yeah,
to do that. It's always better to do that.
yeah, sir.
Yeah, just a second. Naresh is calling. अच्छा अच्छा ठीक है चालू कर देता हूँ. Yeah, done, done. Yeah, so we'll start. Recording is on. We'll start with Jitin. Jitin, one second. I'll just screenshot. Is it? Can you see it, Jitin? Yes. Yeah, you are under question 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, please start.
A and B are on a road trip through hilly terrain. A knows a secret about B. Their vehicle breaks down in middle of nowhere. Write a scene. You may use dialogues. Try to resume their relationship and to create a mood of the situation. A car is parked on a hilly terrain. The parking lights are blinking. Rahul, sir, this is not my answer.
So this is not your answer.
No.
This is Anshul's answer. Uh, Yours is before Anshul, right?
After answer.
After Anshul.
Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have finished the dog thing, and now
Yeah.
you're in A and B,
Third
right?
tables.
So you can start with your answer.
The time is around 1 a.m. Akshay and Bilal are trying to start their vehicle, which had broken down in an isolated hilly terrain suburb. They can't exactly locate the place as they are new to the route, and even mobile networks are not available there. A and B studied mechanical engineering together. They are both best friends, and people who know them address them as the AB gang. A stands for Akshay and B for Bilal. They are both drunk, and Akshay is furious towards Bilal for taking this route for traveling, which he didn't approve of. Akshay, the hell with you, man. Why? Why the fuck you have to take this road? If it was the main roadside, there would be vehicles and people. Bilal, chill, dude. Don't create a mess. After all, this is just a matter of time. Stop creating a scene and just enjoy the vibe. Look, our car got broken down near the cliff. Bilal point towards a cliff nearby. Akshay, you can enjoy yourself as much as you want. You don't have any commitment in the body. Oh, I forgot. You don't even have any commitment in life. Bilal, the fuck with you, man. You don't have to talk to me like that. I know what your commitment is, so it is better we don't go there. Akshay, I had promised her that I would be with her tomorrow morning. There is nothing, there is nothing to be ashamed of. I am supposed to marry her. Why are you bothered? Bilal looks Akshay for a while and walks towards the bonnet of car. Bilal, leave it, man. I'm a bit high. All I want is to have some quality time with you. That's why I took the longest route. Passes for a while. Bilal, I hadn't thought that it will end up like this. Bilal opens the bonnet. Akshay comes out of the car from the driver's side and then lifts his phone up, hoping that he can recover the range of network. Bilal is checking some of the wire connections of acceleration and brake cable. Ask Akshay for the toolkit. Sir, excuse me, sir. Sir, I think there is some editing mistake where B and A are interchanged.
Okay.
He said, okay, I continue with the original storyboard.
Yeah.
Akshay opens the back door of car, takes the toolkit and passes it to Bilal. Bilal is engaged in fixing the car, while Akshay is looking for range in his device. Akshay, pass me the phone, man. Let me look for coverage. Bilal takes his phone out of pocket, then looks in the display. Put his phone back. Bilal, no chance. Akshay, give it to me. Let me check. Bilal, stop wasting time. This is of no use. Akshay laughs lightly. Akshay, I know why you are not giving me your phone. Bilal, what? Why? Akshay, dude, I saw everything. Bilal, what did you see? It's okay. Just tell me. Uh, Akshay, I saw you sexing with Deepthi at Raipur when I was sleeping at the back seat. I woke up unknowingly and saw from there. Bilal looking nervous and his face is all red. Akshay, I didn't know what specifically you were chatting about, but it was clear to me that you are having an affair with her. It's not okay, man. You specifically know she's in relation with Chandu, and we both are his mutual friends. Bilal, man, that was a one-time thing. I won't repeat it. You don't understand. It it is complicated. Akshay. Anyway, I'm not going to tell him, but I think you should tell him before someone finds out. Bilal, look into the sky for some time. Take a deep breath. Bilal, you are right, man. After we reach there, I am going to tell him myself. Bilal then returned to his car to be fixed. After a while, Bilal closed the bonnet. Bilal, I think we can give it one more try. You try to start the vehicle. I will try to push the car from back. If the car runs even a bit, then there is a possibility. Bilal go towards the back of the car. Akshay enters the driving seat, starts the car, then applies acceleration. Car starts to move. Akshay smiles and then apply brake, but the brake isn't working. Fear can be seen in the eyes of Akshay. Bilal run towards the moving car, which is heading onto the cliff. Akshay tries to unlock the door but can't do it due to child protection in car. Akshay opens the door window, hangs his hand for help. Bilal run in his full speed. He reached near Akshay, looking Akshay in the eye. Bilal, you shouldn't have looked. You are worried about Chandu's girlfriend. What about yours? Bilal laughs.
Uh, there's a little bit of confusion because we have changed the characters and stuff like that.
I think there's been an editing mistake. Characters' names somewhat changed.
Okay, so just brief me. Um, it's Bilal, it's Akshay who gets killed, right?
Sir, can't hear you.
Who gets killed?
It's Akshay gets killed.
Akshay gets killed. Huh?
Yeah.
And who's having this affair?
Bilal is having the affair
Bilal is having an affair with his girlfriend. Whose girlfriend?
with someone who is a mutual friend of the board. And there is a doubt that Bilal is also having an affair with Akshay's girlfriend. That is not kept there.
Yeah, and yeah, that comes out little bit in the end. Huh?
Yeah.
So the fact that he has his girlfriend, he has his affair with the Akshay's girlfriend, right?
He may or may not. That's
What is the
but he did have an affair with one of the mutual friends of the that's now that is known to Akshay also. So Bilal didn't want to take any chances in that.
okay. So what is the secret here? Huh?
secret is Bilal is having an affair with girlfriend of Chandu, who is a mutual friend of both Akshay and Bilal. Now Akshay came to know about that on their way,
from
on the
from
way
the
of travel.
texting, from the
Yeah,
texting.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So a little bit of confusion is there of what, who, and stuff like that, and that's also because of the editing
Yeah,
uh,
A and B, the names kind of interchange.
group of, you know.
Yeah,
So
I even got a
yes,
surprise
yes,
for something.
yes. This is predominantly a dialogue kind of a thing, which it should not, you know, because the question says you may use dialogues, you know. So that means dialogues are optional, you know, or it could be minimal or something like that. So the scene, the question asks you to write a scene, and it's basically a dialogue scene. The first paragraph that you have written here is just an explanation of a story. You know, you have there is a lot of waste. All these words, I don't know how many words is this paragraph, but all these are wasted. You know, all these should have come within the body, and some of it has come within the body of the script. You know, so I don't think this highlighted portion that I talked about was absolutely necessary, and it's a waste of words because you have just 500 words. All this should have come in the body of the script and stuff like that. Uh, so that is one thing. The second thing is I told you it's a dialogue oriented. Maybe you should start off thinking in terms of thinking out of the box and thinking in terms of actions. You know, actions where dialogues is just filling up in between the actions. What is happening now? There is full of dialogue, a little bit one or two actions here and there, which is not the ideal case to write a scene. A scene, there is an action, and then in between an action, a little bit of dialogues. So that would be a right approach. The second thing is just because, in terms of scripting, just because he knows about his background, why would you want to kill him? You know, unless you have a strong motivation. Uh, that
Bilal is a kind of guy who don't want people to know about his secret. He's kind of last question he asked to Akshay was about what about yours? So he may be a toxic, gratiated guy. He's been committed crimes in past. We don't know.
so all this background, a little bit, it should have been hinted. It's not. Uh, I'm having an affair with somebody else's girlfriend, or some girl is having an affair with somebody else's boyfriend, and that itself is not a motivation for anyone to kill that person, the friend.
Depends upon the person, sir.
Exactly,
Uh,
exactly. Depends on the person, and that has justification has to come out in the body of the script. Depends on the person. You're getting what I'm saying. You could,
Yeah.
he could kill, no problem. But there should be, and that justification should be there, and it should be visible in the clear and visible in the body of the script, which I thought was not there. So it's not a little bit not believable that he would kill because he knows his secret or something like that, or he wants to hide his secret. Yeah. So unless that secret is very grave and very something. So he could kill. I'm not saying he should not kill. He could kill, but the justification should be visible, which right now it has to be worked on. Huh? Shall go for the next.
Yeah. Sir, before going to the last question, I am just putting an excuse. This was a kind of a lazy writing because the time was up, so I have to submit the assignment. So I just
Yeah,
finished
let's
the
yeah
four
let's read
questions.
what it is, and then we'll figure out.
Okay. A girl shuts the fridge door with a bang and with an angry face. She is about to cross the threshold of the house. An angry man standing behind says, "If you ever step out of the house, you will never see my face again." Construct a story around this situation with writing what happens next and give suitable title. Next door. Needu has been waiting for her husband Parikar to return from job. She had mentioned to him that he must come early as she has to attend her sister's birthday function. But due to overwork, he can't make it. When he reaches home, Needu was searching something in refrigerator. Parikar, did you go? Needu shuts the fridge door with a bang. She's full of anger. Parikar came after so much stressful work. He didn't like her attitude. Parikar, if you are going to continue with this attitude, you can leave. Needu, this is what I am going to do. That is what I am going to do. Parikar, if you ever step out of the house, you will never see my face again. Needu, we are always fighting. Look at our neighbor's house. They always have a nice, calm atmosphere. Parikar, Mr. Tripathi's wife isn't like you. That's why they are living in harmony. Needu, fine. I am going. Needu leaves the house with her bag. Needu sees people gathered and police vehicle heading towards Tripathi's house. Hearing the noise of siren from police vehicle, Mr. Parikar also stepped out of the house. Needu sees a familiar face in crowd. Needu, what happened? Her friend. Didn't you hear Tripathi killed his wife because he found evidence that she's been cheating him with her friend? Needu and Parikar look at each other. Parikar picks her bag, walk towards their house. Needu follows.
How come you think this is a lazy attempt?
Uh, I only took 5 minutes to complete.
So that
Did
that
it?
that is not a criteria, है ना? Sometimes within a 2 minutes if you write, it could be a. See the story. The thing is, it's a the plot itself is worked out very well. There is a contrast between the two couples and what is she opening in the fridge? What is she setting? Why is she setting down the fridge?
She was searching something in the refrigerator.
Ah,
Something like that.
so you haven't actually made it a necessity, the fridge. The question is how to use the fridge. How is the fridge door become very important to the plot of the film? She could have, as I told last yesterday, she could have just banged a door, or she could have been doing something and just thrown away the vessel or something like that. As she is doing that, she is like closing the fridge. So the fridge doesn't become the main. One of the purpose of the question is the fridge. How do you incorporate the banging of the fridge into the effectively, not just for the sake of it, effectively into the plot of the film. Like there was this one last evening. There was this where something hot falls on the hands, and there is a reason for that person to go to the fridge and take the ice and put it. And then as it is happening, they get angry and the fridge is banned. That's an organic, usage of it. Now this is for the sake of it. It looks like it is for the sake of it. So that apart, that is a that's the comment in relation to the question that I in relation to the question. But otherwise, the two couples are there, and then it's a well worked out. I'm not getting into audiovisual writing because the question says write a story. It's a story. So or any number of explanation would do because it's a story. So I think it's a well worked out story, except for the fact that the element of fridge has not been organically included into the story of it. And I can, if you write a screenplay of this could be a good film. Keeping in mind, and there are no motivation issues, and simply they come back, because and they think the neighbors are good, but the neighbors are as bad as they are, maybe worse. So it's a well worked out plot of a story, but you should look at the question once again with regards to the script. Clear? So just all of you, just because you have written it in 2 minutes or 5 minutes, it doesn't mean it's a lazy work. Sometimes you might take 2 years to write something, and then it comes to nothing. Sometimes you write in 30 days, or sometimes you write it. Yeah, clear? Get away with this notion that whatever you write it fast would be very it's not good. Sometimes when you read it back, it looks good, and this is fairly good. Fairly good. Okay. Cool.
I have one doubt.
Yeah.
The third question was like there are two characters A and B in question. So is it necessary for us to write like A, B characters name like A and B, or kind of point out the A and B. A stands for something, or B stands for something. Is it
The name.
necessary, or we can randomly use any names?
Uh, um, so you could if you want to use a name for Akshay, for example, A is what? What is your A?
Akshay and
Akshay
my
and
B is
Bilal, na?
Bilal. Yeah.
So in the first time when you write Akshay, है ना, A bracket in bracket you write Akshay, है ना, and then Akshay is waiting in the car. Bilal Bilal bracket Bilal. Bilal is sitting in the seat behind, and then you go on with Akshay and Bilal. You have introduced
Yes.
A as Akshay and B
So
as
it is necessary to point out the A and B, right?
yes. Otherwise there'll be a confusion because the question is A and B. Now, if you want Akshay and Bilal, in the first instance itself, you figure out A is Akshay, B is Bilal. Then you're free to do, no? Then you're free to do because you've already introduced. If I haven't read that, then it is my problem as a evaluator. No? You are safe, you know. So it's always good to have names, you know, instead of A and B. Yeah,
Better
but
for connecting emotion.
yeah, connected. That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The next in the line is Pragyay.
Yeah, sir, it's me.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first question says, in a remote village, a 10-year-old girl walks to school early in the morning. The school is 2 kilometers away from her home. Describe the girl's journey from her home to school in image and sound. No drawings, no description, only description of image. So actually, I've not written it in a story format, and
That's
also I've actually not built up a story. Also, I've just described a normal girl story, journey from school to home.
yeah. Whatever it
So
is, you can read it. Huh?
yeah, the image, dark yellow sky, depicting dawn from the fields of sugarcane. Sound, silence all over, just the soothing, quiet, tranquil space. Flocks of birds seen flying above her head, a pair of pigeons sitting on the trees and looking below the branches. Sound of birds chirping that merges well with the background tranquility, which sounds pleasing to the ears.
One second,
Brood
one
of
second,
hens.
one second, Pragyay.
Yeah.
Flocks of birds seen flying above her head. Now, whose head?
The girl's head.
So you haven't introduced the girl right now. No? Maybe
Yeah.
you should have introduced the girl and then okay. So,
But I have completely written it in the other format. I
no,
have
but even in
realized
the
my mistake
yeah,
now.
correct, no problem. But even in
Yeah.
the other format, you have to write now who's this girl. You have to
Yeah.
introduce the girl, na?
Yeah.
Now, in the second shot that you have, it's almost assumed that the girl is introduced. What's the girl doing? There is a dark yellow
Mm,
sky
yeah.
amidst the sugar behind the sugar cane. And what is the girl doing there? She's
The
walking.
girl has just stepped out from the house. Yeah.
That line is missing.
Yeah.
So if you add that line and a
Yeah. It makes
house,
sense.
an old
Yeah.
house or whatever, a little
Yeah.
house, a
Yeah.
dilapidated house or a nice big house,
Yeah.
a little girl dressed in a school uniform gets out of the house. If you have written
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
and she walks through the sugarcane fields, grown sugarcane
Yeah. Yeah.
fields, and
That would have
behind
been more sense.
that would have been clearer. Yeah.
Yeah. So the brood of hens can be seen moving here and there in small steps, clucking noise of heads as she leaves her house. So I've written it here.
So
Yeah.
that's a problem. If you, uh,
Mm.
so when I'm reading it, I'm not
Yeah.
the girl is coming out of the house in the third shot.
Yeah.
There's a confusion. So you have to be very clear.
Hmm.
So or else you just remove this flying about flocks of birds flying.
Okay, then that will just add to the screenplay and
Yes. You
yeah.
could also do that. You could also bring in the
Okay.
girl earlier. These are choices that you
Okay.
make. Huh?
Yeah.
But be clear. Whatever is the choice, be clear about
Hmm.
it. Yeah.
Sight of dogs on the road strolling and enjoying the pleasant morning. Dogs barking in between, mostly silent. Girl dressed in ironed uniform, neatly tied up ponytails, proper attire. Sounds of her footsteps briskly walking towards school on time, to reach school on time. She removes the cycle that was parked in the porch of her house and sits to ride on it. A red-black tractor can be seen with a farmer on it, an unpleasant but a kind of noise that the girl does not find unusual to hear. Visuals of farmers plowing the field, but feeling the breeze that can be felt on their face. Sound of digging of soil. Windmill is steady, depicting that the weather is not windy but quite pleasant. Silence, not much of a sound is generated from anywhere near of it. A group of women can be seen walking in groups towards the well with clay-made pots, matka, chit-chatting with each other. Giggle sounds coming from those women walking past her. Another girl cycling towards her. Cycle bear's voice coming from her left. The both start riding together in the same direction on the road that lies between the fields on both sides and can be seen talking to each other. They are talking about the homework they had been given on the way towards school. Entrance of the main gate of the school which says Kendriya Vidyalaya. Both the girls can be seen parking their cycles on the side, and a group of students can be seen rushing towards the school. Chaotic voices can be heard to depict that they are all in a hurry as the bell had just rung.
Yeah. So what you have done is you have built up the atmosphere very well, the rural atmosphere,
Yeah,
the remote kind of an atmosphere.
yeah. I
You have
missed out the story. I just wrote the atmosphere
the,
part.
the story is like one girl going to the school. है ना?
Yeah.
That is what is expected from you from the question, and that you have. है ना? One girl gets out of her house and passes through some fields and some women,
Yeah.
and there's another girl who
Hmm.
joins her, and they chat something about the school and they reach the school. That is a
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough. Ruralness. The question says rural. Uh,
Yeah.
10-year-old girl character is established very well.
Hmm.
I'll come in a bit. And then the images and sounds are there, and there are a couple of places where it is not there. I'll point it out later on. But um, but you should be asking yourself, or you should be asking others, the, what is the distance between the school and the house and the school, as per your writing, as per your
Hmm.
writing, roughly. I'm not saying 2.1 kilometer or 2.33 kilometers. I'm not saying that. Roughly. Yeah? So how do
Hmm.
you show a distance of
Yeah, yeah.
about 2 kilometers in your writing?
Maybe, yeah, I should have mentioned the distance properly. Like I could have said that the flock of birds were seen just as she had exited the house, and
Uh,
she saw the farm that was just outside the house. That could have maybe reduced the distance or made it more.
yeah,
Yeah, the
yeah,
distance part is not more clear.
yeah. So the ladies who are carrying the matkas is a different location, is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
So it
actually, it was on her way only that she found it. She was cycling and she just saw a group of ladies over there.
which is away from the house, right? A little bit away
Yeah,
from the
yeah,
house.
yeah.
So these kinds of locations, the identifiable locations,
Hmm.
you could have introduced, so that you get an impression कि भाई she has
Yes.
walked for 2 kilometers, है ना? अभी मुझे लगता था कि it's like quite nearby, है ना? From the
Hmm.
writing. So that part probably, that part of 2 kilometers
Yeah.
you have missed. So it's also about time. How do you, if you see, for example, if you shoot 2 kilometers in real time, how much time it will take in real time? The camera is following the
Hmm.
girl from the school. You have to edit it, right? You can't
Hmm.
show 1 kilometers. It will take 20 minutes roughly for anyone, not 20, because she's cycling 10 minutes. A kilometer is 10 minutes, or within 15 minutes, she will go to the school. So you can't keep 15 minutes. No? You have 500 words, and you have to shoot the film in, say, 2 or 3 minutes. What part of the journey of 15 minutes are you going to keep? That becomes
Hmm.
important. You're
Yeah.
getting what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
Such that the distance becomes, we get to know that it's about roughly about 2 kilometers.
Hmm.
Clear? So
Yeah.
for that, what you have to do, you have to identify the location and separate the locations from one another, from the house to the ladies walking on the street, from the ladies walking on the street to the school, or if there is anything in between. So then you get a sense of feeling of distance. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll go for the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were going to point out the places where
Yeah.
the
Sorry. For example, mm, soothing quiet. You these
hmm.
are descriptions. These words have no place in audiovisual writing. है ना? It says
Hmm.
image and sound.
Hmm.
How do you shoot? How do you describe soothing
Yeah.
quiet in image? है ना? So
Hmm.
this has no place. Pleasing to the
So, but
ears.
sound, it comes under sound, no? So,
Space, yeah,
quiet can be used maybe.
quiet. So your wordings could be as simple as silence all over.
Yeah, yeah.
Finish.
Only that.
Silence all over. है ना? So
Hmm.
you overshot your words. Just soothing.
Yeah.
है ना?
Hmm.
So that the same thing applies with sounds pleasing to the ears. You know, it's
Hmm.
not necessary. You know,
Hmm.
it's not necessary. Some maybe birds quietly. Suppose you write sound of birds chirping very quietly and softly, and that gives a
Hmm.
suggestion that it could be pleasing or it could be
Hmm.
soft. There could be tranquility. Yeah?
Hmm.
Clear?
Hmm.
So
Yes.
things have to be suggested. Trying a sound pleasing to the ears. Now this is what you do in a short story. In audiovisual writing, this is a no-no.
Hmm.
I would
Yeah.
just
Okay.
I would just I would just remove these. I mean these are as it is. You have 500 words, and
Hmm.
you're indulging in this, and that's an issue.
Hmm.
Instead of this, you could have written something else, some other visual, some other sound actually,
Hmm.
which suggests the tranquility that you're talking about. Uh,
Hmm.
So there are a lot of such, a couple of such things here and there that you can. But you're getting what I'm saying.
Yeah, so.
So you can't write, for example, this applies for all of you. You can't write, she's happy. You can't write that.
Hmm.
I told you the other day also. You can't write that. That's good in a short story. She
Hmm.
smiles or something
Like
like that.
we can say that she's clapping and she's showing her teeth with joy. Something like that.
Something like that. Something that suggests. See, when it
Hmm.
rains, before it rains, what happens? The wind
Hmm.
flutters. How do you know that it is going to rain? So you have a dark
In
clouds,
dark atmosphere, yeah.
a dark atmosphere. The clouds loom over, something like that.
Hmm.
The clouds getting darker. The white
Hmm.
clouds go away. The wind is flapping. First,
Something that we can see and
yes,
hear.
yes. This
Yeah.
first drop of water falls in the puddle,
Hmm.
and then the thunder. You can't write duck duck, but the thunder, sound of thunder. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
and then it pours. It pours. So then you know that it is going to rain. Instead of writing,
Yeah.
oh, maybe it is going to rain now. You could do that in a story,
Hmm.
but in an audiovisual writing, you can't do that. You know, some of the
Hmm.
others also have. We should address this issue of audiovisual writing. Clear?
Hmm. Yeah,
So
sir.
there are some other things that, but I think you fairly figured it out. Clear?
Yeah,
Shall we
sir.
go for the next question?
Yeah. So I guess this answer of mine will be a lot different from the others, but let's see. Even when a dog is not included in a visual, the sound of barking can be used in the background to suggest or establish many things. Write five such possibilities in detail, no drawings, only description of the image. So first, barking sound in the colony during the night time implies that sometimes the dog need comfort as they may suffer from loneliness. So the people inside their homes can feel the vibe, but just because it's the sleeping time of their kids, they had no idea. They had no choice but of picking sides. The emotion they feel of comforting a dog is invested in hugging their kids and making a safe and cozy space for them so that they can sleep comfortably.
Yeah. So this is not just this is a
Yeah,
description of an image and not the image itself.
yeah.
You know the difference? This is a description of the image. That again, it's not an audio visual writing because the question clearly says image. When I say
Hmm.
description, it is a it is the literary form of yeah, it's in a literary form.
Hmm.
So it's you should actually write the image, audio visual image. So
Hmm.
otherwise, this has nice little possibilities. So can we go
Hmm.
to the next one?
Yes. A dog is barking in the background and a mother is watching a movie inside her house. She is oblivious to the sound of it until she notices that the dogs in the film and the dog outside bark at the same time. Then at this moment her thoughts completely drifted from the film to her own thoughts. she began thinking about how a dog communicates and how difficult it must be for a dog sometimes, especially street dogs, to seek food. When she's stuck in these thoughts is when she is suddenly reminded that her daughter is about to return from school and that she has to prepare lunch. She then goes to kitchen to prepare lunch.
Yeah, so it starts off very promisingly because there
Hmm.
is an image here in this portion.
Hmm.
These two lines,
Then
a
it
dog.
again becomes, yeah.
Yeah, then again, then at
Hmm.
this moment, her thoughts completely drift from the film to her own thoughts. So
Hmm.
how do we know that she's going into the thought?
Hmm.
How do we know
Yeah.
what is she thinking? So you have to find a visual or audio
Hmm.
manifestation of that. And then again, when she's stuck in these thoughts, when she's suddenly reminded that her daughter is about to return from the school, so
Yeah.
that's just inside the thought.
Hmm.
Um, you have to bring it out into the image. Image. When I say image, it's an image
And
of the.
after, sir, after listening to so many answers, I already knew that my answers are lagging behind. So I was just giving it a shot.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
We'll go for the next.
Yeah, a watchman is guarding an office. It's noon time and not much is happening around. The watchman is engrossed in his phone and watching something. He's completely ignorant of the dog. An employee from inside the premises was watching the watchman and had noticed that the dog's voice was creating a disturbance inside the office, and he had come out to check what the dog wanted. But when he saw the watchman completely in his own world, his focus shifted from the dog and landed onto him. He started scolding the watchman and stated how his irresponsible behavior might lead to serious damage if his routine remained the same.
So, what aspect of the barking that you wanted to highlight here?
Sir, actually, to be honest, I completely misunderstood the question. Like, people have mentioned the possibilities. I've just mentioned the situations where a dog is barking, and I've created a story on that.
No, that's how it should be.
Okay.
Instead of giving an essay, a paragraph on what a dog sound would mean,
Hmm.
if it comes through a
Hmm.
narration, and that is what is asked for. That is
Okay.
the image that is asked for. But what I'm asking you is what aspect. Now I'm asking you to explain in this event what aspect of the barking is covered.
So maybe that we ignore the dogs and sometimes we focus on ourselves, and that only aspect is
But
covered.
this I think was a fair enough kind of a thing, because there is an image,
Awesome.
there is an event that is happening, there is an image. Uh,
Hmm.
the image can be an event or it can be without an event. Uh, one of the exercises had no event at all, or very
Hmm.
minimal event, but it was imagery, audio and visual. For example, the traffic one, I don't remember now
Hmm.
who has written it, but there is an image of the chaos in the traffic, and then there's just the
Hmm.
sound of dog. There's no event that is taking place. That is also an
Hmm.
image, and there is an image which is an event. Now we have written an event, which is also fine. You know, so I think this is a better one. The point number three is a better
Okay.
one. Yeah, we'll go for the fourth one.
Hmm. Dog barking outside the railway station, but the already existing sounds emanating from different sources overpowered the bark of the dog. There was so much rush and haste that everybody were running to and fro and were oblivious to everything other.
Yeah, and why was the dog barking? For what reasons?
That I've not mentioned. Maybe
Not
for food.
for
Yeah.
food. So if it is
Yeah.
for food, I think this has point number four as an audio visual. It's an image. You know,
Hmm.
there is image. There is no action in here, but a singular action, but an
Hmm.
image action.
So,
Suppose
sir,
you were
can we say,
yeah.
yeah. So, can we say the first 2 points were not more like audio visual and the other two were like AV,
Yes, yes,
audio
yes,
visual?
yes. You could do that. But
Hmm.
how would you improve this fourth one? Is if it was barking for the food, there is
Yeah, I
there is
could
a
have
tea
mentioned it.
there's a tea stall there,
Uh,
and somebody is
hmm.
eating in the tea stall
Hmm.
some food,
And the dog saw the biscuit and he was like wanting it. So,
and biscuit. For example, somebody was eating the
hmm.
biscuit, and then the dog is
Hmm.
we hear the dog sound, and the person who is
Hmm.
eating the biscuit throws it away. You know, throws it away, and then the dog starts barking or whatever, doing the barking
Yeah, yeah.
sound again, and then the
Could
train
have
sound.
built a story upon that. Like,
Yeah,
how did the dog enter?
yeah, without showing the dog, only with the sound. So that
Yeah.
uh, food and the barking is related. And then there are
Yeah,
people,
actually,
yeah,
my why I didn't mention it was because the first part of the question says that imagine not the visual and only the sound of the dog. So I had deliberately not mentioned the dog, like the story around the dog. So when I actually listened to the other's answer, I realized my mistake, and then I thought that okay, we
so
had to
you could
mention.
weave a story only with the sound of the dog
Yeah,
without showing. You can do that, you know.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
actually the challenge. The purpose of the
yeah.
story, purpose of the question is that how do
Hmm.
you creatively use the sound, you know, to
Yeah.
tell your story. So that's the basic intention of the question. So we'll go
Hmm.
for the next one.
Hmm. In Hindu religion, cows are considered to be very sacred. On the way to temple, a man listens to a dog's bark. It was his every Tuesday ritual to visit the temple and feed the cows because it's a way of cleansing your soul by doing good deeds. So when he listened to it, he then bought some dried grass so that he could feed the cows, and then he bought some biscuits as well so that he returns from the temple so that he could feed the dog as well.
Yeah, you know what's the problem with this?
Yeah.
What is it?
So the audio visual is also not there, and why does the dog bark affect his thinking, and also that he's thinking in his own thoughts.
Correct, absolutely. Whatever he's
Yeah,
thinking, it has to be manifested in
yeah,
terms of when you're saying on the way to the temple he feeds the cow, uh,
mm,
and it's a way of cleansing your soul.
yeah,
That's not needed. You know,
yeah,
if it is cleansing of soul, you would have said he feeds the cow, touches it, you know, presses it over his head, you know,
mm,
and prays for it, and then goes away. Something
mm,
it gives a hint that of such a thing, you know.
mm,
So yeah, so otherwise it's just a description of it.
mm,
Clear? Yeah.
yeah,
So the element of the barking of the dog is not as much important as the cow in this
mm,
particular. So in that sense,
yeah,
as you rightly pointed out, it's a interpretation of the
mm,
question.
mm.
Clear?
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So we'll go for the next one.
Yeah, sir. A and B are on a road trip through hilly terrain. A knows the secret about B. Their vehicle breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Write a scene, you may use the dialogues to try to resume their relationship and to create a mood of the situation. It is a hilly terrain and the road is not well constructed, but the beautiful view was enough to soothe the mood. A and B are brothers and are going to visit their parents who lived in the valleys of the hills to educate the children. Their parents were retired and had shifted there to serve a noble cause. A and B loved each other, but over the years had developed some issues uh, because of staying apart. A is named Manan and B is named Naman. A is younger to B. Manan was coming from Delhi and Naman from Mumbai, and they both met at Chandigarh airport to reach Manali together on a car trip. Manan could sense that something was off about Naman. Not just that, he had discovered something about his brother too, which made his demeanor confirm his doubts. Suddenly, there was a huge bang against the rock and the car stopped. The driver got off the car and goes to see what's wrong. Meanwhile, the brothers, Manan, Bhaiya, what's up? I know there's something going in your head. Would you like to talk about it? Naman, no, nothing's wrong. You don't worry. Manan, Bhaiya, I know there is something that you're hiding. It won't hurt you if you share it with me. I'm your younger brother after all. You can trust me. Naman, wait, what? You know something already? What do you know? Tell me first. Manan, Bhaiya, I know that there have been times I couldn't be there for you while you always ensured that you are there for me even in the years we were living apart. I understand you take me as your younger brother and have done mistakes, but that does not make me any less of a brother. Trust me, Bhaiya, you can count on me. Naman, fine. Listen, Manu. Remember the Reiki course we took last year? I benefited a lot from it and I'm planning to become an all-time instructor of Reiki. But first, I'm going to seek a professional certificate to become an instructor. Manan, so she was right. The instructor was the one who told Bhaiya. We had been in touch since then. Blushes. She did tell me that your brother was planning to join her. mockingly. Manu, is there something you would like to tell me? Manan, not now, Bhaiya. Mine can be handled later on as well. Bhaiya, look, I have always looked up to you, but are you really sure of being an all-time instructor? Naman, Manu, a large part of our lives come from our childhood. We were brought up in Manali, and it's not just the noble cause of serving the kids that has brought our parents back here, but sorry, our
Memories.
memories of the home we have here has also got them here. When we moved to Delhi, it was not like it did not like it there. I could see you getting easily attached to it, but me, a part of me always longed to the mountains. My heart feels at home. Last year was like a reminder to me as what I should really do in life, and I believe that everything happens for a reason. Manan was lost in tears as he discovered a new side of his brother that day. They hugged each other. Uh,
Sound.
sound from behind came, Bhaiya, gaadi theek ho gayi hai. They sat and the trip resumed.
There is a little bit of confusion is what exactly is happening. If you can describe the story in one or two lines, what is it?
Acha.
In
So
the
there are two brothers.
yeah, there are two brothers.
The younger one is Manan and the elder one is Naman.
Mm.
I made it similar so that they look like brothers, but
Yeah,
there's no reason behind
yeah, yeah.
it. So the younger one is knows the secret about the elder one, and the elder one thinks the brother has no clue of it. So when the car stops, the younger one inquires of what is happening through his gestures. He has already sensed that something off of his brother. Then he says, then the elder brother informs him that he's trying to be an all-time Reiki instructor, which means that you go to the mountains, cleanse your soul. There's a course according to it, and he's saying that he plans to become an all-time instructor over there. And when he tells his younger brother confirms the fact that he already knows because he had been in touch with the other instructor, because she was a girl and he had something going on in between them. So there's a bit of mocking also in between. So
So there's
that's
a
the story.
so the something going on in between the younger brother and the girl, right?
Yeah, the instructor that they met on the trip last year while they were taking the course.
Who the younger brother?
No, both of the brothers had gone
Acha,
to the
okay.
trip last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So these things, couple of these things are not clear. I don't know how you'll make it clear.
Hmm.
Now, but the issue with this couple of issues here, this is a very dialogue oriented. You know, you're supposed to write it
Hmm.
as you would be knowing over the discussions that we have had. This is basically what you have written is mainly a dialogue oriented. Remove the dialogue and there is nothing. You know,
Hmm.
there is not nothing. I won't say nothing, but there is a very little that we can take
Yeah,
from.
I get it.
Remove the dialogue. So as I told everyone, you may use dialogue, which means
Hmm.
it could be optional also. You could construct something with less dialogues or no dialogues at all.
Hmm.
That's a challenge. That's a
Hmm.
challenge. And you have wasted the first whole paragraph. You have wasted because it's a description. All these
Hmm.
things should have come in the body of the film itself. Uh,
Hmm.
Um, why is why is the elder brother who is wanting to become
Hmm.
these are script issues, who is wanting to
Hmm.
become a full-time Reiki master, so concerned? I mean, why is he in a dilemma? Is he in a dilemma? Why is it
Yeah,
that
because they are going to his parents, and their parents would be hesitant if he would want to lose his job completely and become an all-time Reiki instructor.
this is missing? What you have
Yeah.
just told right now makes give
Hmm.
some validity to the secret that is there.
Hmm.
That the parents have spent so much money, for example, if
Yeah.
example, so much money to educate him
Hmm.
and find him a house in Delhi and find him a job and things like that, and they're worried. And that is a secret. That is a dilemma that he has, and this aspect
Hmm.
is missing in the body of the film. If this
Hmm.
aspect had come, then the whole issue of the secret and then the brother
Yeah.
trying to that would have been etched out.
More prominent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Otherwise, it's just two brothers talking and
Yeah.
things. So the justification for the secret to be held a secret, is now he's worried. He's worried that his father and mother might be thinking otherwise. Now his worry is, how do I convince him? Because they have made a lot of, probably they made a lot of sacrifices, sending him to Delhi and stuff like that. Then he's going against it. That is a dilemma. That is a secret, and that aspect is not there. Clear? If that aspect had come, and instead of all this first paragraph, you could have added that.
Yeah.
So that's the choices that you make, right? Clear?
Mhm.
We'll go ahead for the next
Yeah,
question.
sir.
Yeah,
Yeah, sir.
yeah.
Sir, one more question. Like, how long should the dialogue be? If even if we are using the dialogues, how long should it be?
As
Like
I, as
you
yeah, as I told you yesterday, I mean, see, for example, this Naman gives a lecture here,
yeah.
uh, almost a lecture, and look at your conversations that you have with your parents. I don't know if you have siblings. It's almost in half sentences.
Yeah.
It's almost in half sentences, and within those half sentences, the communication is done.
So like we have to keep the relationship in mind and then make the dialogues.
Yes,
And
yes,
if you're like wanting to make a monologue, so we'll have to mention that in monologue and a speech
yeah,
like that.
and that is for the purpose. Suppose
Yeah.
suppose the younger brother gives him a lecture,
Hmm.
or the elder brother gives him a lecture, and then he gives 2 or 3 lines, and they say, "Don't give me a lecture." The other guy says,
Acha.
for example, so you
Hmm.
know that you cut him short and stuff like that. So in
Hmm.
normal circumstances, you don't have these long
So like
dialogues.
2 lines would be the appropriate length for a dialogue.
Yeah, I
सर बट
suggest. Yeah,
सर सर जैसे इस सिचुएशन में लेकिन देखा जाए तो मोनोलॉग वर्क करेगा ना, क्योंकि इट वाज अ मेजर डिसीजन एंड आमतौर पे एल्डर लोग जो होते हैं वो प्रोटेक्टिव हो जाते हैं.
या बट मोनोलॉग अगर पेरेंट देता है मोनोलॉग, देन उसका वैलिड रीजन है, वैलिड है.
Hmm.
पेरेंट्स तो बोलते रहते हैं जिंदगी भर, 20 साल,
So
30 साल.
like I could have written Naman and then a monologue in bracket, and then if I would have written the same thing, would it have made sense?
That's a technical solution. What is the reason for Naman to give a monologue? If that is clear, then
Acha.
the entire thing can be a monologue. There's no issue for that.
Hmm.
You know? So the justification for a monologue has to be there. As I said, told in the first class itself, there are no rules here. The only rules that it should be believable.
Hmm.
It's called plausible. Plausable. Plausible.
Hmm.
These monologues doesn't look plausible. You can have monologues. I've seen a film. The climax of a film is 25 minutes dialogue. 25 minutes. It's in a single take, and that's an integration that is happening. The questioning that is happening between a police chief and his subordinate, and it works well. And there is a justification for that. So you justify anything. You can have a monologue. You can have a
Hmm.
rhetoric, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
कॉन्वर्जेशनल टोन इनफॉर्मली रहना चाहिए, थोड़ा फॉर्मल सा हो गया.
yes. On the other hand, you can stylistically use non-formal. You can also do that, but that should be consistent. That's a different matter.
Hmm.
Yep.
So you could do that also. And that should also be believable.
Hmm.
Clear?
Hmm.
But the question says, question में ही answer है ना? You should use, you may
Hmm.
use, which
Yeah,
means
so that
uh,
I
which,
noticed
which
later.
which means it's जरूरी नहीं है. But of
Hmm.
course we all
The
come.
question is itself giving us the hints what to write
Yes,
and what not to write.
yes, that's right. So we'll go
Hmm.
for the next question.
Yeah.
Hmm.
A girl shuts the fridge door with a bang, and with an angry face, she's about to cross the threshold of the house. An angry man standing behind says, "If you ever step out of the house, you'll never see my face again." Construct a story around the situation with writing what happens next and give a suitable title. So again, before reading the answer, I'll say that I already know the two mistakes that you're going to point. First, that
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fridge story is not, I've not built the story around it. And the second one is that it is not going to be well narrated because I've missed certain important points already. I know that.
yeah. So we'll read it and then you figure out what's your problem.
Yeah.
You only tell what's the problem.
Okay. It's always difficult to let go. The title is uh, girl is named Mitali and man is named Manas and he's Mitali's dad. Manas, if you step out of the house, you will never see my face again ever. Mitali, this is my last warning and I'm not going to listen anything after this. Mitali, Dad, I cannot make you understand. I hope you may understand it someday, but today I cannot see that happening. Manas crying and blabbering something in anger just to try to stop her. Manas, Mitali, I don't know where did I go wrong in raising you. Come back, we have everything sorted here. That priest has brainwashed you. There is nothing kept in what you're planning to become. Peace isn't settling in. Peace isn't family. Peace is here. Metali, turning back to him for one final attempt to try to make his father understand. Dad, if I could only explain to you what peace means to me. I know you love me, I know you want me to be happy, but my definition of peace does not align with yours, and so you should trust me and let me go. Manas, I have seen the world and more than you, and I know what's wrong and right. You'll be happy here. Mitali, that I wanted to leave for the ashram after convincing you wholly and not like this, but there's one thing that I've learned in the past few weeks, and that is love means letting go. And if I love you, I will have to detach myself from you, but one day you will know what I'm doing is right. You have always taken the right decision for me, and it is because of you that I'm confident about this decision as well. You love me unconditionally, but one day you will realize that it is my love and not my decision that I've taken in haste. Manas, but don't you think the joy of having a baby or husband for that matter will make you happy? Mitali, Dad, we have talked about this many times, and you know what I feel about kids and family. Everybody counts in as God's children, and I will be surrounded by a lot of kids there. And trust me, I'll be happy. Maharishi ji has also, I knew he's only behind every this. Dad, if anything, your daughter is happy, and today is happy today only because what he has taught me. So you'll be happy and thankful one day to him. Please don't go, Mitali. Mitali with tears in her eyes. I wanted a good farewell, Dad, but there never be a good time. But I know it will come all in good time. One day you'll realize the reason behind everything. Bye, Dad. Will meet you soon. That I know the dialogues are very long and everything.
Yeah. ये तो dialogues के very long है ना. Um,
Hmm.
and then what else?
Sir, first I've not built up why she had opened the
Fridge.
fridge.
Correct.
Yeah,
है ना?
and
So
the dialogues.
so the whole point is this girl is going away from the house, and his father is asking her
Hmm.
not to go. है ना?
Yeah.
This could also, for example, have been written. We are talking about long dialogues.
Hmm.
Suppose one of the ways it could have written, and this is not the way that I'm suggesting. One way
Hmm.
could be that she's just walking off, and then the father speaks in monologues.
Hmm.
Half the time she is only speaking. For example, you could have long dialogues,
Hmm.
you know, all justifications. She's also preempting what the father is saying, and then she's taking. I know I won't get
Hmm.
married or whatever. I don't like it. Everyone is like this and that. And this guy says, "Oh, that guy has brainwashed you." Arey, Swamiji has not
Hmm.
brainwashed me. And then she goes on, 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 on,
Hmm.
on, on, on. Then the father says, "And what about marriage?" You know, uh,
Hmm.
marriage, something like that. And then she goes on
Hmm.
marriage.
Hmm.
So then that thing is justifiable. That long
Yeah.
dialogues are justifiable.
Hmm.
So this is one way of doing it.
Hmm.
They could have in shorter conversations also. That's another way. I'm not
Yeah, the
saying
monologues were avoidable. Yeah.
yes. I'm saying it's not a no. Monologues, big monologues are not a no, but it should be
Hmm.
justifiable. One of the ways of
Hmm.
justifying in this situation is the way I told you. She's a very talkative
Hmm.
girl, and she keeps on
Yeah.
blabbering, and the father is saying like
Hmm.
that's the kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Clear?
So another thing, yeah, that is my story coming out what I've thought it to be, like on
Of this.
hearing. Yeah, the last.
So what comes across is this girl is independent minded. She has her own mind,
Hmm.
and she wants to
Hmm.
find her own path, and she's done so,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
she's trying it hard to explain it to her father that the path she's
Hmm.
taking is right, and there is a
Hmm.
separation. You know? That is clear. That
So,
much is
sir,
clear.
do you think it's a normal story or a good story? Because I found it a bit different. I don't
I
know, maybe
I
story.
I liked the situation actually. The situation was novel and good, I felt.
Yeah. So any it's a I would say There is nothing called a good and bad, according to me. I would say
Yeah.
this is plausible. The plot, not the
Hmm.
format, but the plot is plausible. What is the plot? The plot is a girl, lady, independent lady,
Hmm.
trying has an independent mind, tries to move
Hmm.
away from the protected family atmosphere, uh, making a path for herself in the spiritual world. This path itself is this plot itself is very believable and very
Hmm.
uh, होता है
Okay,
लाइफ
sir.
लाइफ में होता है but the construction of
Hmm.
it is a problem in
Hmm.
terms of dialogue.
Yeah, sir.
So there's nothing normal or not normal. It's okay. It's
Hmm.
plausible. I would say it is plausible. It is believable.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Some people
Yeah,
might
sir.
not like. I would like. Yeah, what is this Maharishi man? What
Hmm.
stupid man. I would think like that. If my son or daughter would have done that, अरे काय को Maharishi के पीछे जाती है यार? That kind of a thing.
Hmm.
But that apart. But this is believable.
Hmm.
That is
Okay,
my
sir.
personal opinion. That's my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I'm going
I
to keep it
understood.
aside. I'm going to keep it aside. ठीक है?
Hmm. Okay,
So
sir. Thank
so
you.
Ananya, is Ananya there? Ananya is not there. Aditya,
Yes, sir.
yeah, you can start.
Yes, sir. Sir, should I read the question too?
Yes, yeah, it gives a
The-
context to it. Huh?
In a remote village, a 10-year-old girl walks to the school early in the morning. The school is 2 kilometers away from her home. Describe the girl's journey from her home to school in image and sound. My answer. Only description of the image, no drawings. Answer. Amongst the hills of Dehradun, in a small village called Chetganj, where the skies reside with everyday folk. Rani, a 10-year-old girl, marches to school as early as 6 in the morning. She begins her journey by greeting Mrs. Sharma a good morning, a sweet elderly lady who starts her day watching this young girl depart to school reminds her of a granddaughter back in the city. There is a very piercing nature to the early morning cold breeze at high altitudes, but Rani is prepared, tuckered in a blazer, which she wears upon 2 layers of sweaters and the cute little muffler to keep her ears warm, safe from the unforgiving cold of the dawn. The winters are approaching and the sun rises late. Rani, as she walks down the small bridge over the narrow river, can glimpse the orange hue in the atmosphere as the first ray of sun reaches the green planet. The river shines like little pearls are flowing in it. Birds wake up and cheer for Rani in melodious voice as she walks down through the dissipating fog with her tiny steps. Rani becomes one with the mother nature. At 6:20, at 6:20 a.m., Rani stops at Gulmohar Park around 1 kilometer before reaching school, where she feeds some dogs. Loud synchronous sounds of ha 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 echoes around the park as elderly perform their morning exercise. Rani smiles and continues her journey, but now she is accompanied by her friend Chintu, the dog. Rani departs at 6:40. The next part of her journey is the hardest, where Chintu comes in handy as Rani walks past the trees, where no one generally tends to go. Even after the sun rose, the forest remains colder than ever, with low visibility, as if it wants to scare Rani off her journey. But there she was, brave and puffed up, with her best buddy Chintu, as the trees make eerie sounds shaken by the wind, and barely a drop of sunlight touches the ground. Rani stands tall. Chintu once saw Rani hesitate before walking into the forest, and then never left her side ever since, whenever she goes through the forest. Rani hears a ruffling noise. Someone was following them. As Chintu guards Rani to defend her, it turns out to be Mintu to their pleasant surprise, Chintu's brother. Usually a lazy dog, on this day chose to follow them. Chintu is both relieved and mad at Mintu for scaring them and lets him know with a loud bark scolding. Rani laughs as she hears the bell ring. It was already 7 a.m. and she was a little late as always. She runs towards the gate requesting the guard to let her in, and the guard teases her a bit but lets her in. Rani waves bye to her companions and runs towards the class, with the heavy bag pulling her back down.
Pulling her back down. So 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 um, what are the settings in the what are the milestones in the journey? One is a house, right?
Yes, sir. She starts from the house.
Hmm.
She meets an elderly woman there, greets her, and then the second milestone is she stops at a park, The elderly are performing exercises there, and and she feeds a few dogs. And then the third is the forest, about a kilometer of length. She walks through, accompanied by with the dog. She fed one of them, which accompanies to protect her.
And where does the brother dog comes?
The other dog follows them, and otherwise a lazy dog. He today chose to follow them, and scared them a little.
That's in the forest?
Yes. In the forest, he
And
followed them.
Yeah, and
Rani,
when do they come out of the forest?
at the other end of the forest is the school, and this end of the forest was the park. So as Rani,
Where is this, the last paragraph, right? Ruffling noise, Chintu guards Rani to defend her. It turns out to be Mintu, lazy dog, scaring them. Rani laughs as she hears the
bell ring, school bell ring.
and this happens in the forest itself.
Yeah, it's on the end of the forest, and the school is right there.
So maybe you had to have a line there saying that.
Yes, sir. The visual imagery should be drawn. Yes, sir. I realize that.
Yeah. So that the forest, and you get an idea that the school is just beside the forest. Ranu,
Okay. Yes.
as soon as she rings the bell, hears the bell ring, she runs out, and after she crosses a few trees, for example, after she crosses a few trees, she sees this school, and then the rest of this thing happens. You know? So in terms of distancing, I think it is pretty well worked out. In terms of distancing, 2 kilometers, and there is a
Yes,
remoteness of a place. It is pretty well worked out. What I have observations is, how do I know, for example, that it is Dehradun? If you don't
So,
say,
skies are down with the everyday folk. I wrote that for that one.
no, that would happen for, say, in Shimla also. That would happen in Sikkim also, Gangtok also. So first of all, is it necessary that you show that it is Dehradun?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Amongst the hills, we can only start with that.
Exactly. What I'm asking you to do is cut out the fluff.
Okay, yes, sir. Sure. Yes,
वो
sir.
जो फ्लैश जो है, एक्स्ट्रा मीट जो है, वो निकालो ताकि वो आपका 500 वर्ड्स ही है ना?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
So
sure.
you could have done something else, some other visual, some other sound you could have. A small
Yes.
village called Chilaganj. There is not necessary to name the village in these
Yes.
500 words. So when you're
Okay.
talking about a small village, a cluster of houses, 3 or 4 houses, whatever, we see it in a long. We see a cluster of houses amidst greenery, something like that.
Okay, sir. Sure.
So then you get a feeling that it's a village. So there are a lot of such things that which I call extra meat, which could be cut off.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For example, a sweet elderly lady. How do I know that she's sweet?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
You are telling me that she's sweet, है ना? उसका कोई attribute होगा sweet होने के लिए, है ना? So
Yes, sir.
how do I know? How do we know that daily she watches, है ना? ऐसा है ना कुछ?
Yes, sir.
How do we know that, है ना? तो ये सब आपको solve करना पड़ेगा, है ना? Extra flush आप निकालेंगे तो एकदम सटाक होगा और interpretation भी अच्छा होगा लोगों का.
Okay, sir.
There are a lot of such things I can name one by one, but I think you're getting
Yes,
what I'm saying.
I got the context. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Cool. Otherwise, your distancing is good, and the remoteness is good, and you by and large answered the question. But image and sound, a little bit you have to work upon. Writing in image and sound, you have to. For that, you'll have to think in. First, you have to think in image, think in sounds.
Yeah. Yes, sir. I actually have created an image for this journey in my mind. It's just the communication that I must be improving.
Absolutely. By practice, it will come. This communication that you're talking about, if you practice a bit, it's going to come.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Cool. We'll go for the next one.
Yes, sir. Just a second. Yes. Even when a dog is not included in the visual, the sound of barking can be used in the background to suggest or establish many things. Write 5 such possibilities in detail. No drawing, only description of the image. Okay, sir. So I want to add a pretext that I was confused whether to actually draw the image or just tell how it can be utilized technically. So because of that, I wrote two images. I created two stories, and instead I wrote three, just the technical possibilities of how it can be used. So I will get to it. Answer pretext is: the sound of a dog barking can be used in several contexts. The emotion in the bark itself can provide servitude of possibilities such as fear, pain, joy, anger, etc. Here are 5 specific use case scenarios for which a dog's bark can be used. Possibility 1. The passage contains a story showing the application. As she succeeded to run away from the cave where she was kidnapped, she started running with full speed to find an escape. The men who held her captive tried to find her, but were lost in the deep forest they were in, and didn't understand which direction to go. Suddenly, she stepped onto something and fell aggressively. And we hear a dog's loud bark in distress and pain. Stark fear rises on her face. The men obtained which direction she went in and started chasing her. So, in this story, the bark of the dog is used as a plot device to help the villain close in and make the journey of the protagonist harder by using the voice to convey direction.
So this pause. No. So this portion is totally unnecessary.
Yes, sir.
You wasted some words. This
Yes,
portion, this line is totally unnecessary. You wasted how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 words you wasted.
Yes, sir.
This is the meat. This is what it is.
Yes, sir.
This works.
Yes, sir.
There is no need for this explanation also.
Sure, sir.
So this works. This is fantastic, except for the fact that she was kidnapped. So you need to be clear or in audiovisual terms to communicate that she's kidnapped. She's a kidnapped person. So apart from that, everything works. Everything
sir.
works. So there's no need to panic.
Yes, sir. Pretext
So
is unnecessary. Yes, sir.
pardon.
Pretext was unnecessary in this scenario.
Absolutely. I like the way that the barking of the dog was used. We don't see the dog, right? We don't see the dog. We only hear it. She runs over the dog. Is that it? Something like that.
Yes, sir. She runs over the dog, and the loud bark gave the villains the direction.
Absolutely. It's well incorporated into the body of the image. Here.
So possibility 2. Here I have written the description of the image, but I actually had a story that I removed. So I'm just going to say that story because I remember it.
It is not needed. This is the story. This is
no,
not
in this one. In possibility 2. In possibility
Achha, in
2.
possibility 2. No. So just read what you have written. And
Okay,
then
okay.
we'll deal with that.
Chaos can be delivered by using dog's barking sound in the background, carrying metaphorical capacity. In a chasing scene, a dog's barking sound can be used as it will help to intensify the scenario and establish surrounding as well. In a tense atmosphere among a family, the dog's bark on the street can be used as a fill-up during the silence while keeping the intensity of the scene.
Yeah, what's the image that you talked about?
Sir, the image that I created was it was a little boy's birthday. And it was a small gathering of close family and the little boys, little friends, running around in frenzy all over the hall. Suddenly, the birthday boy and a friend of his started fighting over what was in the biggest gift. The birthday boy suggested it must be a car for him to ride, and the other boy suggested that it must be a tricycle instead. And as they approached the gift, they heard a barking sound coming from inside the gift, and then they both became very happy.
Yeah, that's fair enough. This story, if you'd have written this, that could be it.
Yes, sir.
So you're getting that, right? So we'll
Yes,
go for possibility 3.
Yes, sir. Possibility 3. Sir, it's a passage. Late at night. So I'm starting from second paragraph. Late at night, Ravi was commuting back home after working hard at the office for 10 hours. Earning the bread, his shoulders sank, bearing the burden for his family. Yet Ravi was not unhappy. He was looking forward to getting back to his wife and young son Adi. The streets were pin-drop silent, except for a dog barking. Ravi decided to take a shortcut on that day, which he usually avoids, for it had a reputation for being haunted. As Ravi moved, scared of the unknown, the dog barking intensified in the background. Ravi noticed a shadow following him. The sound of the dog barking now turned into a dog squeaking in distress. All Ravi wanted now was to get back home safe. Ravi, with the little money he had made this week, left it all, stripping himself of all his hope belongings back in hope that it was what the man wanted. Alas, the man had other intentions. Ravi thought of his family in his last breath.
Acha, so there is this man who is traveling to cut off the cheese. There is this man who is traveling late in the night in the narrow lanes, and
Yeah.
and he hears the dog, and then the dog squeals, you know,
Yes,
as if in pain, and then he sees a shadow, and then there is this man. Um,
yes, sir.
uh, so he thinks that he's a robber and takes all his purse, but the man kills him. Is that it?
Sir, Ravi, when he was sure that the man is actually chasing him,
Uh,
he left the little money that he had on him behind in
uh,
the hope that the man wants that from him.
uh,
But the man had other intentions. So
uh.
he killed Ravi basically, and Ravi thought of his family in his last breath.
Yeah. So this particular if you cut off all the flesh, this is what it remains.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
This is what it
Sir,
remains.
I
All
wrote it in a story form instead of a screenplay form. Yes, sir.
yeah. You realized it, but what
Yes,
they are
yes, sir.
looking they are
Yes,
looking
sir.
is
Yes,
the image of it,
yes, sir.
So all these hard working office and all might not be visually visible if you want to make this particular
Not
script
a
into a film. It's
Yes,
not.
sir.
What is visible is this man walking in the dark lane, and there's a sound of the dog, and the dog is squealing and in pain, and he hears a shadow, sees a shadow, and then he gets afraid and takes all his purse and leaves it on the ground. But then the man comes and kills him. This is it.
Yes, sir.
This is the materiality of it. All
Yes,
the rest of it is fluff. Huh?
yes, sir.
So
Yes, sir.
if you want the fluff to be communicated, then it has to be materialized.
Yes, sir.
It has to be concretized. Clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I understand.
Otherwise, the possibility is good. Yeah, four. Possibility four.
Possibility 4. The bark in the background can be used in a screenplay for comedic purposes as well. Slapstick humor has a lot of possibilities in using dog's bark in the background or his squeak to show pain and agony and deliver comic relief from it.
Yeah. So you could have taken an example and stuff like that. So possibility 5.
A dog's bark can be used to build a scene to express locality as well. For example, in depiction of higher societies, when someone is walking in a field, a rare breed's dog's bark can be used. Or in violent slums and normal areas, a normal street dog's bark can be used to set up a scene.
Yeah, this is a very generic kind of a thing.
Yes, sir.
I urge you to get into specificity.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're getting what I'm saying.
Yes, sir.
Maybe
Yes, sir.
all of you are getting what I'm saying right now. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we'll go for the next question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
A and B are on a road trip through hilly terrain. A knows a secret about B. Their vehicle breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Write a scene. You may use dialogues. Try to resume their relationship and create a mood of the situation. Answer. Harshit. Well, this is busted. Adi. Do you know anything about an engine? Harshit. Of course, I am a scientist. Adi. Do you know how to fix one? Harshit. Well, no, I'm no engineer. I'm not an engineer like you. Adi. I am a software engineer, you idiot. Harshit. And what good is that right now? The weather doesn't look good. It might rain. We are in the middle of nowhere. Adi. Damn it. I'm not getting any signal. Harshit. Oh Lord, me neither. What are we going to do? Adi. We can wait for the passing vehicles to ask for help. Harshit. Wow, a nice idea for you for a change of pace. Yeah, it's gonna be cold at night. Someone better help, or we might freeze out of cold. Adi looks visibly shook as he heard the sentence. Harshit, hey, you alright? Adi, yeah, I'm okay. Harshit, Acha, I need to tell you something. I am thinking to ask Richa to marry me. Harshit, and the clouds rumble as he said this. And Adi says, there is something you should know. Harshit, what is it? Looking around for passing vehicles as he said. Adi, it was me. I ate your ice cream that day. Starts raining. Harshit, what do you mean you ate my ice cream? Adi, Richa, didn't she tell you about the ice cream? Harshit, I know, the stupid cat ate my ice cream. How could you even eat it? You were not in the town, right? We both were gone, so Richa was watching our house and cat. Adi. Last minute, my trip got cancelled. Richa came in that day. I accidentally ate your ice cream while we hung out. Harshit. So why did you guys lie? I mean, she's lactose intolerant, but there is no reason for you to lie. Adi. I'm sorry, but we were dishonest to you. Harshit. No. So the sun sets and the last ray of dusk disappears, and we enter the gloom. Suddenly, they are lit up by the vehicles passing by, but but they stop none. Harshit tightens his wrist with droplets of water dripping, and that was
Uh,
it. Sir,
yeah,
one thing that I failed to communicate, I just realized was ki Adi, when he says ki, but we were dishonest to you, he meant that he and Richa cheated upon Harshit. So that
yeah.
was the point that wasn't clearly communicated. I just realized. But
Hmm.
yeah, that was the intention of the story. A couple of lines added in the final dialogue of Adi could have resolved that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what's the secret?
That Adi and Richa cheated on Harshit. That the person whom he was about to propose was cheating on her.
So Harshit knows about it. No.
Huh? Harshit didn't knew about it. Adi was just telling him about it.
So what would have happened if Harshit said, "Yeah, I know about it"? That's a secret. No? That's something he has hidden.
Actually,
And
sir, I
hmm,
misinterpreted the question as well. I
hmm,
just
hmm.
realized A knew a secret about B was the question, but I instead did A has a secret
Correct.
that
No,
he has
correct,
to
correct.
tell
Well
B.
analyzed. This is well analyzed. No, now
Yes,
we are so we are doing some exercises in such a way that we realize our mistakes ourselves. That's a
yes,
very good thing to happen.
yes, sir, yes,
Instead of
sir.
others pointing out, it's a very good. So you have found out again. It's a dialogue oriented kind of a thing.
Yes, sir.
The question might as well have been write a dialogue sequence about two persons speaking.
Yes, sir.
So that's not it. For example, you start off with saying, Harshit, well, is this busted? So what have you not done here is that it's a hilly, you have not established the location. You have not established the visual. The visual
Yes, sir.
establishment is done in the question. They have assumed the visual
Yes, sir.
establishment.
Yes, sir.
So instead of that, couple of lines saying that it's a hilly terrain, it's a mud road. There are stones given, it is
Yes,
almost
sir.
dark. It's almost dark or whatever, and then there is a slight breeze coming, and there is a vehicle parked, and the bonnet
Yes,
is open, So all these are visual indicators, and then
yes,
one guy is trying to repair something in the bonnet. The other guys, then the conversation starts, and that is a build up to the conversation. So all that is missing, all that is
yes,
missing. And what again is missing is if I say something shocking to you, you won't reply with an immediate dialogue. You may or may not. You would have a pause. You would get a shock. अरे क्या हुआ है ना तूने क्यों आइसक्रीम खाया उधर something like that and then
yes,
all that pauses are missing basically. So
yes, sir.
I suggest that you work on your visual aspect on your screenplay, and
Yes, sir.
and then you had time to read this again when you wrote it.
No, sir. I kind of wrote the last two answers in haste, question 3 and question 4, a little in a
So
little haste.
so the next exercise you do, you take a bit time
Yes,
of.
sir. Yes,
I know sometimes in a busy schedule we can't do it, but that's the best way to go about it. You
yes,
write
sir.
it,
Yes, sir.
you
I
write
realize.
you write it, and just have a cup of tea or something. Do some other work for an hour or so, and come back and read it again. And then you'll realize what is wrong as you've realized it right now.
Yes, sir.
My assumption is that after writing it, you have sent it and you're reading it right now.
Yes,
Isn't
sir.
it?
Yes, sir.
हाँ, तो
Yes,
पता
sir. Yes,
चलता है. So that's how you realize your mistakes. So I always suggest you go back to it and read it.
yes,
Uh, so clear?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll go for the next one.
So the last question: a girl shuts the fridge door with a bang and with an angry face. She's about to cross the threshold of the house. An angry man standing behind says, "If you ever step out of the house, you will never see my face again." Construct a story around this situation, writing what happens next and give it a suitable title. Okay, sir. The title I forgot to write was क्या बोलते हैं? I thought of it, sir. I'm just forgetting it a little bit. I will deliver it after the story. And so I will start with the story. You were spying on me, asked Shreya, as she finds her dad looking through her chats. I must have a knowledge of what kind of people you hang out with, Shreya, Dad replied assertively. Shreya was very pissed because she felt her own father didn't trust her, even after she has been nothing less than a perfect girl to him. She argued with her father to trust her for once. He had no reason not to. Her dad's reasoning was that the world is full of people that Shreya can't even imagine. In this online world, one must be aware of predators online looking for vulnerabilities. Shreya though is smart enough, and she believes in her. She grabs her phone, snatching it from her dad, in the process hurting him. With guilt and teary face, about to leave, her dad says, "If you step out of the house, you will never see my face again." He's scared, but Shreya leaves. She doesn't know where to head though. She messages one of her friends online to help her out, and luckily the friend was willing as well. Uh, after about uh, After about 10 minutes, her father realized what a grave mistake he had committed and started running around the town searching for her daughter in frenzy. They decide to meet up in about half an hour at a discreet corner on the street. Uh, Again, sir, here I will provide some context. Ki Shreya and the friend she messaged, they decide to meet up in about half an hour at a discreet corner of the street.
So you
The
missed
girl
it
on the
out.
chat,
You missed that
Shreya,
out.
yeah.
Yeah.
The girl on the chat offered to help her out as if she was abused at home, and in the moment Shreya felt she was. About 15 minutes before Shreya was supposed to meet, an Omni van appeared out of nowhere. Shreya tried to take shade and was very scared at this point. Was this friend a fake? Shreya wondered and was panicking about what to do. Sir, scroll down a little. Just a second. Shreya fled from the place and felt terrified for her life. The van started chasing her after a couple of minutes. Shreya ran, gathering every ounce of her strength she had in her body, and she knew where she had to go. The van closed in, and Shreya now sees her dad standing at their favorite place, Lucky Chart Corner. Shreya yells, "Dad, I'm sorry." But the dad falls on his knees, and Shreya hugs her. The van passed by, and as the father daughter reunite, Shreya's phone buzzes. It's her friend who offered help. She was waiting at the location and was indeed a real helper, but Shreya informed her what happened, and it all ended well.
Yeah. So who's this man? How come? Who is this
So,
man who is chasing
I
her?
mentioned about the friend a little earlier. Sh- uh, she messages one of her friends online to help her out, and luckily the friend was willing to as well in the end of the first paragraph,
Yeah, and then she comes to this place. Uh,
where they
so
decide to meet in a discreet corner of the street.
and
Then
then Omni van appears from nowhere. No?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And she felt scared, so she
So
fled from the.
what is this Omni car and who is in this Omni car?
Sir, Omni van is just to scare.
Yeah, I got that. I got that. But why would an Omni car?
The Omni van is just scare Shreya
Uh-huh.
into going. She realized that the world can be a little scary, and she made a mistake.
No, but
The Omni van, this in general, the Omni van resembles in movies a kidnapper's van. It is utilized most of the time.
yeah,
So
that's an assumption. You know? Let's not go by the
yes, sir.
assumption.
So yes, sir. The story actually was intended to be made in a way that the Omni van uh, was looking sketchy. Okay, what is this doing here? Why has it stopped suddenly? So and then Shreya got scared of what can happen. What if the person she messaged was a fake? And she decided to run off the place, fled off the place, and reach their her and her dad's favorite place, that was a chart corner that was nearby. So she fled there, and her dad was waiting for her there, and they reunited. And the van actually was going with her as she fled. but it passes by as she reunited with her dad. There is an ambiguity about whether the van actually had malintentions or not, but it didn't matter when the daughter and the father reunited.
No, I'm saying it does matter. है ना? You have created a suspense about this Omni van. It appears
Yes,
out
sir.
of nowhere, and you say it is shady kind of a thing.
Yes, sir.
So visually we don't know where
So,
what shady. Uh,
so it could be an omnious element, but it is ambiguous whether it is
I'm-
truly evil or not.
so I'm saying that the fact that you kept it ominous, what's the word you use?
Omnious, yes, sir.
Ominous, it doesn't work here. है ना? So you have introduced an element of suspense here, and you have left it hanging.
Yes, sir.
You have left it hanging, and for what purpose? There is, I mean, it doesn't unless you say that Omni van is also looking for some address, and then once the father hugs that, the Omni van stops and says, "अरे ये address देखा क्या आपने?" And the father
Yes, sir.
says,
Yes, sir.
the,
That could have been a fitting ending. Yes, sir.
yeah. So a father says, "Go right, go left. Thank you, है ना? तो आप क्यों दौड़ रहे थे? Or something like I don't know, है ना? Something
Yes,
like
sir. Yes,
that.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I don't know. So that gives an impression. Otherwise, ये कौन है यहाँ Omni van? Dangerous looking shady glass shades है, for example, है ना?
Yes, sir.
Paint भी red paint है, blue paint है, जो भी है.
Yes.
उसका वो
Sir,
पठान
yes,
look है.
sir. The last two stories were of rushed nature, and that is why it had
So
flaws here and there.
correct. So this is what is missing in this.
Yes, sir.
You have started off with the Omni van and you have introduced it, and then you have not solved it. And
Yes, sir.
there are things. Believe me, there are filmmakers who don't solve things and yet it works. There is no completion to it.
Sir, actually, my point in the leaving the ambiguity was the reason. The reason for that was कि if the Omni van had malintentions, seeing the daughter with her dad, now they couldn't do anything, so they had to leave, and it was open for the reader to ponder whether the Omni van had malintentions or not. Because either ways, when the girl once reunited with her dad, there was nothing they could do at this point. So that was the reason I left it a little bit open ended.
Yeah, no, but in the situation that I talked about right now, they come and ask for an address.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Even there, that ambiguity would have come.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The ambiguity in the story would have been present, but a fitting end would also have been
Yeah.
provided.
So right now, I'll tell you what is happening. Right now, it looks like the Omni van is forced upon the all of a
Yes, sir.
sudden. All of a sudden, you wanted an ambiguity, you bring in the Omni van. उसका
Okay, sir. Okay.
अता पता नहीं है, आगे पीछे नहीं है। वो
Okay, sir.
थोड़ा सा हिंट देता, वो क्यों है इधर, है ना?
Yes, sir.
वो थोड़ा सा एक लेवल और हिंट देता, एक स्ट्रोक ऊपर, then it would have been a complete thing. So
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
so when you're writing something or when you're watching a film, you get the satisfaction only because there is a sense of completion. There is a
Yes,
sense
sir.
of completion, and although there is a sense of completion for the father and for the girl, you have introduced an important element as which could be a antagonist kind of a thing, and that
Yes, sir.
ambiguity is not solved, or at least
Yes.
we don't see the hint of it being solved.
Yes, sir.
Clear,
Yes, sir.
clear. So
Yes, sir.
if you had given a little bit hint, and then it would have been and
Okay.
kept the ambiguity
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So then that would have probably worked.
Sure, sir.
I'm not speaking about the audiovisual writing of it. This is a story because you've
Yes,
been asked to write a story, or there are all descriptions and all, which I'm not commenting on.
Yes,
It is a fair enough. For the question, it's a fair enough. You are writing a story, and this is a story, correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Story in a literary form.
Yes.
Somebody asked you to give a synopsis, so that the producer asked you to give a synopsis, and you would give this.
Yes, sir.
He wants to produce it for you, and he say, अच्छा ये दे, अच्छा ये है, अच्छा ये सब है, अच्छा ठीक है, मैं कर लूँगा, produce कर लूँगा, that kind of, he wouldn't be bothered about audio visual writing and stuff like that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Clear?
Yes, sir.
So this Aditya gets over. Who is left?
Sir.
Sir, me, Anshul.
Who is left?
Sir, Anshul.
Anshul, you're back, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So let me scroll back. Who else apart from Anshul is left? Manya has not come, right? Manya is not there. Jatin is not there. So Jatin's one story uh, after before Jatin. Anshul is before Jatin, right? So you have finished your you have finished your first question,
Yes, sir.
which is well written kind of a thing.
Yes, और सर लास्ट में आवाज कट रही थी तो आप कुछ फीडबैक दे रहे थे उसके ऊपर
किसका ऊपर?
फीडबैक दे रहे थे सर वो फीडबैक सुना ही नहीं गया था
अच्छा, वो फर्स्ट का ऊपर.
हाँ
हाँ.
उतना हुआ था कि लेंथ वाइज और 5 लोकेशन अलग अलग
हाँ.
बट उसके बाद आवाज क्रैक हो रही थी सर
No, there is nothing much. It's a well written. The first one is a well written kind of a thing.
Okay.
You have written in a column format, which is also okay. And if the same lines were written in a paragraph format, it would also work. You know? So the remoteness is there, the distance was there, and everything is apt in this. You know? It's
Okay.
just that the format is audio visual format, the column
Yes, yes.
tabular format. है ना? तो अगर वो straight paragraph भी लिखते हैं, then this
हाँ.
works. This works. So we can
सर
go.
इसमें एक और एलिमेंट था आई वांटेड कि वो मैं और डिस्क्राइब कर पाऊँ पर समझ में नहीं आया सो आई रिटन कि देयर वाज अ स्मॉल स्कूल जिसका पेंट नया पेंट हुआ है तो आई वांटेड कि जैसे छोटे छोटे गांव में ड्राइव्स होती हैं जहाँ पे टीचिंग के लिए वो लोग हेल्प करते हैं पेंट करवाते हैं एनजीओज एंड गवर्नमेंट स्टार्ट करती है तो उसके लिए आई वाज लाइक कि बहुत समझ में नहीं आ रहा था मैं और क्या लिख सकता हूँ उसके बारे में तो मैंने बस एक नया पेंट लिख दिया था तो वो समझ में आ रहा था कि
नहीं,
कुछ
वो
और
सब बैकग्राउंड समझ में नहीं आया. You have to think
नहीं आ
about
रहा
how to. नहीं आ रहा था, है ना?
था हाँ तो थोड़े से और एलिमेंट्स अगर मैं ऐड करता तो शायद से कुछ हो सकता था उसमें
तो हो सकता था because you have 325 words.
Yes, yes, yes.
You still have some words. This is a part of an atmosphere. The paint of the school is new. It's just as a part of the bird flies on the sky. है ना?
Yes.
ऐसे the paint of the school is new. ऐसा
हाँ.
करके I have taken it. है ना?
हाँ मैं वही सोच
थोड़ा
रहा था
सा
कि और क्या क्या कर सकते हैं
हाँ, थोड़ा सा उटपटांग लगा, बट मैं बोला यार ये पार्ट ऑफ द एटमॉस्फेयर करके चलो कर दिया
अच्छा
ना.
ओके
तो
सर
हो सकता है कि भाई कोई स्कूल का नया पेंट हुआ है ना.
हाँ
बट देन हाउ डू यू नो दैट इट इज फ्रेश? है ना, ये भी बात थी.
यस
हाउ डू यू विजुअली नो दैट द पेंट इज
हाँ
फ्रेश?
सर जैसे नया होता है तो मोस्टली हम क्या विजुअलाइज करते हैं कि वो पपड़ी वपड़ी लगी होगी छोटा सा स्कूल क्योंकि अगर ये जो लैंड करना था मेरे को कि नया पेंट हुआ है और थोड़ी चीजें दी है एनजीओ वालों ने तो कि जो जॉय है बच्चे का कि वो खुश होके जा रही है मम्मी भी स्माइल कर रही है तो देयर वाज अ स्टोरी कि वो जाए इतने एक्साइटमेंट के साथ इसलिए रही है क्योंकि उसका स्कूल एकदम नई नई चीजें आई है थोड़ी सी भले
नहीं
ही
नहीं
प्रिमिटिव है
नहीं, वो सब चीजें कम्युनिकेट नहीं होगा.
नहीं हो पा रहा ना हाँ
इनका जॉय जो है पेंट की वजह
हाँ
से है. दिस इज
हाँ
एब्सोल्युटली इन योर माइंड, है ना?
यस सर
So it is not coming across in the writing. Yeah? So
ओके सर
you have to figure out a audio visual manifestation for that.
हम्म,
But
ओके
even
सर
if it was not there, वो बच्चे स्कूल अच्छे से आ रहा है ना. He's coming. He's happily coming, and that also works basically. है ना?
यस आई ट्राई बेटर कि अगर वो कुछ ऐसा
Yeah,
ऐड कर सकते
yeah. So not all of it that is there in your mind would
यस
come across
या
है ना? You have to make a special effort, है ना?
यस
To,
वो
to
175 वर्ड्स और थे उसमें से कुछ कर सकता था
कर
जिसमें
सकते
से
थे.
हेल्प होता
एकदम कर सकते.
ओके
So we'll go for the next one.
या
Dog का barking हुआ नहीं ना?
नहीं सर
हाँ, we'll start with it.
Even when a dog is not included in the visual, the sound of barking can be used in the background to suggest or establish many things. Write 5 such possibility in detail. Sound design. The utilization of a barking dog in terms of sound design suggests that it is a metaphorical in introducing a character if threatening he is a threatening personality or it has any kind of character that have a similarity to it or telling the audience that the visual they are seeing is a threat or attacking nature
ये तो थियरी हुआ, है ना? आपने
yes
थियरी
sir
लिख दिया, है ना? The theory of the sound design, है ना? कैसे साउंड
yeah
डिजाइन यूज करते हैं डॉग बार्किंग का.
yeah
But what is being asked is the image,
yes
है ना?
yes
ये क्या इमेज क्या है वो आप
वो
सोचा?
introducing a character or something तो वो elaborate कर सकता था मैं
हाँ, who is that character? What is that character? कैसे साउंड आता है, concrete
हाँ,
thing, concrete
yeah,
element, है ना, concrete
yes,
image. When I say, I think आप थोड़ा सा लेट आया. When I say
हाँ,
image,
हाँ,
when I say image, there are two things that I look at. One could be an image of an event, है ना. One could be the image itself. एक building का image is an image itself, no? That also you could do, and there's an image of an action that is happening. You could have either done that in concrete terms,
okay,
है ना. Otherwise this becomes theory, है ना.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
the theory वाला part.
हाँ, तो ये next जाता है, second.
Yes. Location or time. To define a location like a slum, we hear dogs or dogs barking, or defining the time.
अच्छा है, God's barking.
Gods barking. Sorry, sir. Defining time. If a car is moving or a man is walking where dogs are barking, it tells us it is late night, as mostly we have seen dogs barking on people, and they're running at the cars at late night.
तो ये आज मैंने कहीं से आ रहा था, and there were a lot of dogs barking, है ना. And I didn't see the dogs. Actually, I was like reliving this question. I was not seeing the dogs. I was just hearing the dogs, है ना. So, but that was daytime, है ना. So dogs barking might not necessarily be in the night, है ना.
Yes, yes, yes.
But because we have seen a lot of films in dog barks in the night, daytime भी मेरा कॉलोनी में बहुत सारे dogs इकट्ठा होती है, start barking, है ना. So we keep hearing it. So that's one thing. Second thing is this is again you haven't concretized the image. You have neither concretized the action nor you have concretized the image, है ना.
अगर इसमें ऐसा होता कि वो रात को एम्प्टी स्ट्रीट पे भौंक रहे हैं, तो फिर वो हो जाता कि हाँ भाई 2-2:30 बजे का टाइम है, तो वो दो एलिमेंट मिस थे जिसकी वजह से ये लगा.
करेक्ट. और स्लम में आपने स्लम के एग्जांपल दिया.
हाँ,
अगर स्लम में somebody is doing something and we hear the dog sound and things like that, and this guy says
atmosphere के लिए
है ना. This guy says shoo करके, and the dog का आवाज faintly goes away, है ना. उस तरह की कुछ कर सकते हैं, concretely कर सकते हैं ना. या स्लम में he takes this वो अपना पानी का मग लेके बाहर जाता है ना, रिलीव करने अपने आप को. और वो नीचे स्लम है, और वो बैठता है, जैसे बैठते हैं कुत्ते का आवाज आता है, दूसरा जगह चले जाते हैं. तो उस तरह की, है ना, उस तरह की सीन अगर क्रिएट करते हैं आप, है ना, बहुत मजेदार होता है.
आई गेस कोई शॉर्ट फिल्म थी जो मैंने देखी थी, तो उसमें ऐसा ही एकदम सेम सिनेरियो था कि वो बैठ रहा था और फिर ऐसे किसी कुत्ते ने भौंका था, और वो विजुअल में नहीं था वो. So it was good.
ऑडियो में. तो उस तरह की इस तरह की क्वेश्चन में उस तरह की कॉन्क्रीटनेस इज एक्सपेक्टेड.
लाइक जैसे पिछले वाले में हमने विजुअल डिफाइन किया पूरा, तो इस वाले में भी अगर हम प्रॉपर्ली विजुअल डिफाइन करेंगे तो दैट इज लाइक गोइंग इन अ राइट डायरेक्शन.
That's it, going in a right, and it may not necessarily be in the table format, है ना.
या
वो टेबल फॉर्मेट बाद की बात है, शूटिंग के स्टेज में वो आता है ना.
एवी स्क्रिप्ट के लिए.
हाँ, वो एवी स्क्रिप्ट शूटिंग के स्टेज में आता है. देन इस स्टेज में इट इज नॉट नेसेसरी, इट इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड आल्सो एट दिस लेवल, एट द एंट्रेंस लेवल इट इज नॉट एक्सपेक्टेड आल्सो. बट किया है, अच्छा है, ठीक है ना, नथिंग हार्म, नो हार्म, ठीक है. तो थर्ड वन,
लेट मोटिव. You can consider leitmotif as a soundtrack or music repeated several times for a stylizing or making a reference. Sound of dog barking sound could be a memory, good or bad, for the protagonist or any person or any other person. The use of this type of sound suggests the person in the frame is reliving the memory. So like yes,
again concretize करो आप, है ना. आपके दिमाग में होगा कुछ एक्शन, है ना, you could have written that, है ना. So
I was thinking कि मतलब कोई मेमोरी वो याद कर रहा है, और जैसे किसी का डॉग की डेथ हुई है, तो फिर वो बस वो डॉग के भौंकने की आवाज सिर्फ सुनाई दे रही है उसे. तो जब भी बार बार हम लोग वो चीज सुनेंगे, तो हमको ऐसा याद विजुअली हम देखेंगे तो बिल्कुल लगेगा कि हाँ वो शायद से याद कर रहा है अपने डॉग को.
तो पहले वो डेथ दिखाना जरूरी होता है.
यस.
ठीक है. So you could have written that concretely. Next one.
Story, something bad. Even when the dog is off screen, the barking of the dog suggests that the dog has sensed something and that it is not good for the protagonist. It could be a storm, thief, a gangster, or a ghost.
So again, you know what is missing. Concreteness
Yes,
is
yes.
missing. Yeah. So we'll go for the next one.
Uh, a dog is called best friend or the best friend or a loyal to the owner. We see dogs risking their lives to protect their owners, like the film It's Entertainment, or in 101 Dalmatian, when dogs come to rescue, we hear the sound of barking.
Yeah. So this is like we are expecting some originality, not some other films. So actually, if I were live with you, I will take a book and hit you. Why?
Yes.
Why would I? If I were in a class with you, I would take a book which is by my side and throw at
Hmm.
you. Why?
Hmm.
Because you have a lot of words left.
Yes.
You have
Yes.
just 255. You have utilized only half of it.
Yes.
आपको
Yes.
बोला
Yes.
गया कि 10 मिनट की फिल्म बनाओ, आपने 4 मिनट की फिल्म बनाई
हाँ,
या
सर
4 या 5 मिनट की
हाँ,
फिल्म बनाई है ना. तो
मैं
दिस इज क्रिमिनल. दिस इज क्रिमिनल है ना.
आई वाज प्रैक्टिसिंग कि वो 2 घंटे में पेपर खत्म हो जाए, पर फिर मैं ये लिखते लिखते 3 घंटे हो गए, तो आई वाज लाइक वेरी एडमायर कि अभी 3 घंटे में यहाँ बैठ के इतना लिखा है, तो 2 घंटे में वहां बैठ के तो क्या होगा. तो अगर कोई सर डांटेंगे तो मैं झेल लूंगा अच्छे से कि मैंने यहाँ पे मेरी गलती, आई नीड टू राइट फास्ट. तो वो प्रैक्टिसिंग और टाइम लिमिट का थोड़ा सा मैं कर रहा था कुछ.
ठीक ठीक है. जस्ट डू सम एक्सरसाइजेस,
या
कीप रिपीटिंग द होल थिंग एंड देन वो हो जाएगा. So
ये
we'll go for
स्क्रिप्ट
the
में ना
next.
सर, हाँ स्क्रिप्ट में थोड़ा खो जाता हूँ मैं, थोड़ा सा वो लिखने में बह जाता हूँ, तो फिर उसमें थोड़ा टाइम लग जाता है.
हाँ,
तो
because
यहाँ पे टाइम कम हो गया था दोनों में.
वो
तो
अपना
आई
दुनिया दुनिया में हम घुस जाते हैं एंड
हाँ.
वहीं पे फंस जाते हैं बेसिकली. या कॉमन कॉमन प्रॉब्लम है ना.
यस सर,
So we'll go
थैंक यू
for the
सर.
next one.
यस
Next
सर.
one. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. A and B are on a road trip through hilly terrain. Uh, A knows a secret about B. Their vehicle breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Write a scene. You may use dialogues. Try to resume the relationship and to create a mood of the situation. A car is parked on a hilly terrain. The parking lights are blinking. Rahul, 29, is leaning on the car. He's looking at Nitin, who is trying to catch signal on his phone. Rahul walks to Nitin. Rahul, तू हमेशा भागता क्यों रहता है? Nitin, I'm trying to call for help. Rahul, झूठ मत बोल. तू अ, तू किसी को जानता. सर थोड़ा जूम कर सकते हैं क्या मेरा थोड़ा सा?
हाँ बिल्कुल. हाँ. ठीक है.
यस सर परफेक्ट सर.
हाँ, तू हमेशा भागता है. तू हमेशा बस भागता रहता है.
हाँ. तू शायद से ये कुछ गलत लिखा है मैंने. तू किसी को जानता है यहाँ, तू किसी को जानता है यहाँ पे जिसको कॉल कर रहा है. नितिन पुट्स हिज फोन बैक. राहुल, तू हमेशा बस भागता रहता है. जस्ट लाइक दिस कॉन्वर्सेशन. नितिन, भैया आई एम नॉट रनिंग. मुझे बस इस कॉन्वर्सेशन में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है. राहुल, तुझे अपने फ्यूचर में इंटरेस्ट नहीं है? Rahul takes out his phone again. Sorry, Nitin takes out his phone again. Rahul, मैंने तेरा रेजिग्नेशन लेटर देखा है. Nitin keeps his phone back. आप मेरे मेल पढ़ते हो? राहुल, तेरा लैपटॉप ओपन था. Nitin tries to look away from Rahul. Rahul, मम्मी पापा से बात की? Nitin, क्या फायदा? मना ही करते. राहुल, वो तेरी केयर करते हैं. Nitin, नहीं, वो मुझे समझते नहीं हैं और आप भी नहीं समझ रहे हो. राहुल, मैं तुझे समझना चाहता हूं पर तू कुछ बोलता ही नहीं है. नितिन, अगर समझते तो आप मेरी बात सुनते और मेरे साथ खड़े रहते. हाँ, खड़े रहते. ओके. हाँ, यहाँ से. मुझे पता नहीं था. तूने मुझे कभी अपने पैशन के बारे में बताया नहीं. नितिन, मैंने कॉल किया था, पर एज यूजुअल आप बिजी थे, बिकॉज आपको पता चल गया था कि आपको लाइफ में क्या करना है. When I was trying to figure out myself, Rahul takes a step back and goes to the car. Nitin waits for a bit, looks at Rahul, looking sad, and walks towards him. Nitin, sorry भैया. Rahul, sorry तो मुझे बोलना चाहिए. पता है, जब हम छोटे थे तब मुझे कोई भी तेरे बारे. Yes, sir? Okay. हाँ, पता है, जब हम छोटे थे तब मुझे कोई भी तेरे बारे में पूछता था तो मैं उसे तेरे बारे में तुझसे बेटर बता सकता था. पता नहीं अब क्या हो गया. नितिन, वी ग्रू अप एंड अपार्ट. राहुल, हाँ. नितिन सीज दैट राहुल स्टिल लुक्स सैड. नितिन, पर अभी टाइम है. पर अभी भी टाइम है. राहुल स्माइल्स एंड नितिन स्माइल्स टू. राहुल, वैसे तेरा पैशन क्या था? नितिन, ट्रैवलिंग. Rahul looks at the car and laughs. Both start laughing. Nitin, by the way, I do have a friend here, जिसको मैं कॉल कर रहा था. राहुल, तो करना. नितिन, ये वादा करो कि आप दोबारा लेक्चर कभी नहीं दो. राहुल hits Nitin on the head in a playful manner. राहुल, बड़ा भाई हो, लेक्चर देना मेरा हक है, तो फोन लगा. Both laughs.
So this basically couple of points एक briefly comment कर देता हूँ. This looks like a dialogue exercises. The question says आप mood create करो, है ना? Then
Yes.
you may use dialogue.
You may
This
use
is you must use dialogue. ऐसा interpret किया मेरे को लगता है. इसमें
हाँ.
mood एक relationship तो अच्छा आया है, but plot पे क्या हो रहा है थोड़ा सा clarity नहीं है ना? Basically that is what I feel in this and that hilly terrain का usage भी नहीं है ज्यादा. Establish किया और फिर अपना dialogue बाजी में निकल गया. So this is basically, I think you have to rework it and look at it in a one
Visual
audio visual manner, and two, what exactly is the problem between these two guys वो clear नहीं है. I think you have to figure it out, है ना? Since we don't have time, it's already 9. But you're getting what I'm saying, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So we'll go for the next question, which is I think your last question, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'll go for that.
सर फिर क्वेश्चन स्किप कर दूं, डायरेक्टली आंसर पे आ जाऊं.
Answer कर देना.
Title: Last Years of an Unwed Widow. Neeti is wearing Neeti 20 wearing a modern dress as per the traditional aesthetics of the house. She is running out of the door, but stop as soon as she hears the voice. Man, if you step out of the house, you will never see my face again. Neeti turns and sees Prakash, a man who has a strong personality, is sitting wearing a white kurta. Neeti, why? Prakash, because I said so. Neeti, I just wanted to see him for the last time. Prakash, women are not supposed to go to a Shamshan Ghat, especially unwed widow. Neeti, thank you for making me one. Prakash, stressing on every word he says, you are not going anywhere. Neeti, I can't sit like this. Prakash, neither will we. Because of my love for Vinod, I accepted you both. But you going there is unholy. Neeti laughs sarcastically. Neeti, unholy? And what? Yeah. And what about you made him do? Prakash, it was the right thing to do. It was his purpose. Neeti, killing innocent Muslim was not his purpose. Prakash stands up angrily, in anger. Prakash screams, you know nothing about what we have been through. I know your generation, reading some damn books about political science and telling me how to protect my religion and my society. Neeti, you could never understand us, especially your own son. Have you ever truly loved your son, hugged him, took him on a father-son walk? Prakash, I have, I have too much responsibility to shoulder. I cannot do this. Neeti, he was happy finally, and you brought him back. he was a good guy, loved and helped everyone regardless of their religion. And you know, he found his passion, singing, and now he's dead. Prakash, he died of his own weakness. He cared about the wrong people, and those people killed him. Niti, you manipulated him believing that needed to fight. Prakash, I was protecting my family. Niti walks a few steps forward uh, uh, towards Prakash while saying, picking up gun and killing people is not the way to protect. Prakash seems to look sad and looks at a gun lying on the table. Niti, I don't care what your justifications are. The love of my life and your son is gone. And it's all because of you and the violence that you chose. Prakash looks down. Niti starts walking towards the door. Prakash off screen voice over. Off screen. Uh, don't go. I'm telling you, if you step out of the house, you will never see my face again. Niti, you might as well kill yourself. As far as I care, bang, we hear a gunshot and Niti falls. Prakash walks up to her while holding a gun. Prakash, stupid child. Killing myself was never an option. I have too much responsibility to shoulder. So I couldn't let you go. Prakash closes the eyes of Niti's dead body. Prakash, I'm happy for you. Now you could see him the way you wished.
Yeah, so there is a little bit of confusion here. It's in a you're being asked to write a story and you've written a story. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to an audio visual element into it. Now,
Yeah.
what is the relationship between Nidhi and the man?
So the man is the father of the she मतलब शादी नहीं हुई उन दोनों की अभी तक बट वो ससुर टाइप है
वो दोनों they were in a relationship and
yeah and the
बंदे का बाप है. I think
हाँ वो बंदे का बाप yeah
that was not
yes
a bit clear in the beginning, you know. So
yes sir
once things are not clear in the beginning, then you start getting doubt. ये कौन है, ये क्या है, ये क्यों बोल रहा है, and stuff like that. The fact that अभी आपने बोला है कि क्या विधवा unmarried
हाँ
विधवा बोला है, but then
हाँ
you could have corrected it or hinted it a little bit more in the beginning stages
yes
itself.
yes
है ना? So
तो
this,
clear
so then there is another point that observation that I'm making. This character who has died, you know, he's supposed to love everyone and stuff like that, and he's been manipulated into killing someone. What is it?
yes sir उसके जो father हैं he's like कि this is your तुम्हारी वो होना चाहिए like your it is your responsibility to protect your family to serve और छोटी छोटी चीजों के बारे में provoking थोड़ा nature है उसका as
हाँ
we
हाँ
see वो starting में ही बोलता है
good.
because you क्यों मैं नहीं जाऊँ तो वो बोलती है because I said so so he is
Yeah,
very dominating kind of a person
yeah.
so
So this is fine, but there is this third character also there who is not seen in the film. उसका
yeah
characterization shaky लग रहा है मेरे को, है ना?
अच्छा
At some point of time we realize that he's a very strong man because he loves all of them, but he's against his father's thoughts and stuff like that, and yet at the same time he is easy enough to be manipulated, है ना? And हो सकता है he can be manipulated, but we have not given reasons and justifications
yes
for that manipulation. So that वो थोड़ा सा उटपटांग लगता है ना? And the fact that all of you are depending heavily on dialogues, है ना? All your exercises are write a dialogue sequence on this. ऐसा लग रहा है. So you have to think in terms of visual,
visual
and you better practice doing that.
definitely
ठीक है?
yes
So
sir thank you so much sir
that ends the day. We started 10 minutes late and we are ending 10 minutes late. है ना? So uh, so it's 9:08